103.2 Preston FM.
Your community, your radio.
And my second guest of the afternoon is now in the studio with me, and it's lovely to welcome Ben Ashworth. So Ben, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Preston FM.
Thanks for having me.
And you're sat across the desk from me looking at an ex-runner myself, but the one thing, Ben, I must admit I would have never attempted would have been 6 marathons in 6 months. And also particularly the fact I know you're raising the money for cancer charities, but the fact that you yourself also suffering from cancer and you know the marathon, 6 marathons in 6 months is really quite some going. And when I was reading a little about you, I was interested in the statement that says that you want to raise money for cancer charities because you're suffering from bowel cancer yourself. Mm-hmm. And it says, I'm reluctant to write cancer sufferer because while it has certainly been an experience, I would never say that I've suffered. And what a statement to make.
Well, I think I'm really fortunate in that my treatment's keeping my cancer under control. I actually have terminal bowel cancer. We were given our terminal prognosis last February, so we were given 6 to 12 months there. And thankfully, the treatment I'm on has been holding it at bay. But I think for whatever reason, perhaps I'm just too stupid to realise what's actually happening. But I think I'm able to always look at it in a positive way. I mean, there are many positives to be drawn from our situation, from my situation. You know, I loved working, but I'm retired now. I get to spend so much time with my girls. We've had lots of lovely holidays together. So I think the marathons was just something I wanted to do, really, to make the most of any time I have left, really. It really is a sort of now or never sort of situation, endeavour. So yeah, that's why I'm doing the marathons, and I've really enjoyed running the marathons. I've got one left. On a week on Sunday, 28th of September in Berlin. So I'm very, very looking forward to that.
Wow. Can I take you back and ask, how on earth did you feel, respond? How did the family respond when you were given that news? Well, I'm really fortunate that I had a lot of time to get used to it. I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, so my cancer had already spread by the time I was diagnosed with bowel cancer. And we went through surgeries and treatments. When I was later given the news that my cancer was terminal, I mean, that obviously was really difficult. It was really hard. And obviously in that kind of moment, or your hopes and aspirations, or the dreams you have for your family, the desire you may have, I may have had for a long and happy sort of marriage, evaporate. And we sort of dwelt on that for a little while, but I think nothing really holds us back, nothing really gets us down for very long, and I think it was just on to the next thing. And we have an absolutely excellent oncologist. I mean, I always say our oncologist because it's not just me that goes through it, it's my family as well, especially my wife. But he advised us to go out and live life as much as possible, so we had an absolutely fantastic time at Disneyland in Paris. Wow. And went for a big family holiday to Cornwall as well. So that's how we coped with it. And then a few months later, my treatment started holding it at bay. It won't ever cure me, but it's working at least in some way for the time being. So the support of someone within the medical profession who gave you that kind of positive view and said, you know, you've got to make the most of life, that for you was a positive, I take it. And where does the strength come from then to continue when you're given news like that? Is it from having those people around you, maybe medical people, family, who, you know, are saying, come on, we're here with you? I think there's lots of different things. And obviously, I'm an innately positive person as well. I mean, I always have been a positive person. I've always said that there's no point me being positive if it's just going to desert me at a time like this when I need it most. I think I feed off all the people around me, really, especially my wife and my children. I always think it's really difficult to be glum and depressed about the situation when I've got their smiling faces to look at. And any time I have, I think it's my responsibility to enjoy that as much as I can with them, because my daughters are 9, 5 and 2. And when I was diagnosed, my youngest daughter was on the way. When I was given my terminal prognosis, she was 6 months. So I'm very, very fortunate to have had this time with them, and I think the opportunity to see my girls grow up is something I don't want to miss. And for as long as I'm able to do that, I'll, just enjoy the time I've got with them. But yeah, I mean, my oncologist also, I always called him the Indian uncle I never knew I had. He's an incredible character, and I think he's really boosted me. And I think at times when I've, been struggling, he's always given me a boost with his positivity as well.
And that must be, as you've just said, a really emotional time with the children. Have you been able to? What does the 9-year-old know?
My eldest understands quite a lot, and I think it's always quite difficult to know how to approach things with children. I think I've probably perhaps not given them as much information as they've needed in the past, but it's difficult because on one hand I want to try and protect them, but the very thing that makes them vulnerable, the very thing that kind of might make them sad is me. So that's a real tension, a real sort of difficulty I face. But yeah, I mean the girls are just excellent. They've gotten on with everything. I've got a stoma. I have had lots of different surgeries. I've got scars on my body, which they are, they could be distant, they could find that strange, but they've never shied away from me. They've always been very affectionate, and I've just been absolutely amazed at how wonderful they are and how well they've dealt with it.
And I mean, you've had severe invasive surgery over the last 12 months. I mean, what was that like?
The surgery I had was a little, it was a couple of years ago now, thankfully. It's much more difficult to recover from surgery than it is from chemo. That was really hard. The day I found out I was going to be having a stoma was the day before my operation. That was only 5 days after I'd been diagnosed. It all happened really quickly. So I guess in that sense, we didn't really have much time to get used to that. It sounds really perverse, but I actively enjoyed my time at Royal Preston as an inpatient in the ward there after my surgery. They were absolutely excellent, and I really, I can't fault their care. They were amazing. It is hard getting over surgery, and it's hard, especially dealing with the impact of life-changing surgery. But again, with my family around me, it was really easy, and I think my family sort of coping with it means that I can sort of get on with it and enjoy myself and enjoy life as well.
And I'm sure I know what you say about your time in hospital, but I'm sure there are other people who understand what you're saying. And I mean, that positive attitude and the way you felt in hospital must be only good for the treatment and for the medication that, you're on at that time. So before you came ill, were you a runner?
Yeah. I ran the Great North Run in 2011. And that was part of a master plan to run a marathon. I was going to run the March 2012 marathon in Blackpool, but that was actually the month I was ended up being diagnosed, so I couldn't run the marathon. And I thought I'd given up on my opportunity really to run a marathon. So it was a bit of when I eventually decided early this year to do a marathon, to run 6 and 6. I was fully committed.
Wow. But I mean, when during the time you were poorly and then during the time you were in hospital, there must have been a time when you thought, I'm never going to run again, or it's not going to be possible that I will ever run again.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's because of the way my, the wounds and the scars from my surgery, that really, it took a lot of strength from me. It kind of it sapped a lot of core strength. It's a bit like I don't know, go into too much detail maybe, but it's a bit like a cesarean, but instead of a horizontal cut, it's a vertical cut, so it goes through all the muscle, and it's really difficult to come back from that. So I, in fact, I had 2 surgeries that went through there. It is really difficult to recover from that, but I think all the barriers I've put in my place, all the doubts I had, I think have been evaporated really just through the support I've had from friends who've encouraged me to get back out on the street, and all the backing I've had from my oncologist. He could really have poo-pooed the whole idea.
I was going to ask.
Well, he's been a tremendous support and a huge advocate of my fitness. He actually told us that I'm the third of his patients under his care to run a marathon, so I'm not the only one. And I think that just speaks a lot for his attitude, how he enables us to do it. But I remember before the Wakefield Marathon, I'd had chemo, I've been having chemo throughout my marathon challenge, and basically I was really struggling with side effects. I wasn't going to run the marathon, and I went in to see him for an extra clinic appointment. I told him I was really struggling. I said, well, if I'm not much better, I'm not going to be able to do it. And he patiently waited for me to finish what I was saying, and his face was just said it all, really. He was so disappointed. He really wanted me to run the marathon, so he actually prescribed me extra drugs to make sure I could do it. He says, I've been telling all my patients about you, you need to do this marathon. So it's amazing that, without that kind of support, I don't think I would have found it quite straightforward to do.
And to date then, so when did you decide on this, the fact that you were going to do so many marathons in 6 months? I mean, what was the reaction when you told the family that's what you were going to do?
I think, I guess obviously it was a mixture of kind of maybe bewilderment perhaps, and enthusiasm. I know some of my family didn't think I'd be able to do it, and worried about me and my health and stuff. But I guess I always knew I had it within me to do, and I think you get a certain determination, I think, from having to face cancer, and to be able to have to recover from chemo and surgery. I think every time I go for chemo, it's really hard, and I always say it makes me so nauseous I can't talk by the end of the day. So to have to face that every fortnight and get myself back in that sort of mental space, to be able to do that again, I think that gives me a lot of toughness and strength. Mental strength to be able to apply to running marathons. And I've run marathons in this challenge without any fitness whatsoever, so it's been simply a question of turning up on the day and just using my willpower and determination to get around, and that's quite pleasing to know I can do that in a difficult situation. But yeah, it was January last year, January this year when I decided, and I've not really looked back since, I think.
So you're having chemo treatment every fortnight.
Mm-hmm.
So then how quickly after that are you able to go out and run? And I mean, how many marathons have you run to date then in this kind of 6 month period?
In this 6 month period, I've run 5 of them. So I've got one left. Wow. in Berlin a week on Sunday, on the 28th of September. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. So 5 of them, I've had chemo throughout. It's been a really, really long course of treatment, but as I've said, my oncologist has been very, very supportive. He's helped me to space out treatment sometimes when I've needed to recover from my marathons. I remember having a week off once for that, and that's really, really helpful. But yeah, no, we're just really looking forward to this last marathon and the opportunity maybe to do another fitness challenge afterwards.
So you're going to Berlin when?
We're going on Wednesday.
This coming Wednesday?
In a week.
And then the marathon is on the
Sunday, the 28th. Yeah.
Actually in Berlin.
Yeah. Starts from Brandenburg Gate and finishes in the Olympic Stadium.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I mean, at the end of the marathons then that you've done,
mm-hmm.
To the marathons or the running that you did prior to your illness, at the end of the marathon, do you feel, are you more shattered? Are you more tired? Do you say to yourself, why am I doing this?
I think I always feel a tremendous sense of achievement at the end of every race. So I never question why I'm doing it. I know that there's plenty of people in my situation with terminal cancer who aren't able to exercise or don't have as much energy as I do. So I feel very, very lucky and very, very fortunate to be doing what I'm doing. And I think in some ways I feel like I'm sort of doing it for them. So I never kind of wish I wasn't doing it. I do feel tired, but I think my determination, or having more determination than I used to in my previous life before I was diagnosed, I think my determination carries me through, and I'm able to push myself now a lot more than I used to. I think I've probably got a better tolerance for pain and discomfort than I previously did.
And has everybody within your family and your circle of friends just been behind you, or have there been individuals who said, why are you doing this?
I think everybody's been very, very supportive. There have been times when people have, family members have worried, especially if I've been in a poor state due to side effects or whatever after chemo. I have put myself through an awful lot to do some of these marathons. And there was, I ran a marathon in 31, 32 degree heat in the without any shade on a marathon course, and that was a really tough one. But I think they just realise I'm going to do it anyway, I think. And they know that we've done an awful lot to support these cancer charities that have helped us and raised a lot of money.
And talking about that, how can people get involved in supporting you and helping you raise money for these charities then, Ben?
Well, I've got a website where my blog is hosted, and there's a link on there to the giving page. It's bensbowelmovements.com. That's bensbowelmovements.com. That's the name of my challenge, Ben's Bowel Movements. Obviously, I've got bowel cancer. My name is Ben, and a marathon's a form of movement. I've got a really poor sense of humour, I'm afraid. But yeah, I'm raising money for Beating Bowel Cancer, who've supported me. Macmillan Cancer Help, who've been a tremendous source of support for my family. There's also the Rosemere Cancer Foundation, where I'm treated, and Click Sargent, who provide help for children with cancer and their families. I'm always very, very grateful that it's me that's ill and not my daughters. So I think I'm just tremendously admiring of families that have to go through that. I don't know how they'd manage. So we always wanted to support Click Sargent, but yeah, no. So far, we've raised £11,500, which I thought was, which I never thought possible. So that's just an incredible figure, and we're very, very, very grateful for the support we've had. Also, people can go to my Facebook group as well. So if they look for Ben's Bowel Movements on Facebook, there's a group there as well with lots of information.
And as you say, that sense of humour of yours is good in that respect, that actually it does bring bowel cancer and that to the forefront, doesn't it? That people, it is there, because often it is something that's not talked about or something that's hidden, but there you are with that right
yeah.
Up front.
Absolutely. Well, it's there's Beating Bowel Cancer, a very, very good awareness campaign called Lift the Lid, and it's an opportunity really for people just to have a look at their poo once they've gone. It is a bit of a taboo to talk about bowel cancer symptoms. Most of them are around poo and looking at your poo, but I think I wish I'd been more aware of symptoms when I was diagnosed. I always dismissed my symptoms as part of my running. I had loose stools. I thought I had runner's trots. I was tired. I thought I was just exhausted from the marathon, from the half marathon I just run. So, there's lots of information out there if people want to find out about bowel cancer symptoms. And I always say in 90% of cases, if people's cancer is caught early enough, you can be completely cured. So early diagnosis is key, and awareness of the symptoms is very important.
So after Berlin, after meeting you and just talking to you this afternoon, I can't see that you're going to be just sitting down on the couch at home and watching afternoon TV.
No, I'm really excited about the next fitness challenge. There's lots of things I want to do. I want to tackle some mountains maybe. I think doing an endurance cycle event would be really good. My wife suggested I do Land's End to John O'Groats on a bike. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I really would have loved to have done an open water swim, but sadly, because I'm having chemo, I won't be able to do that. But there's lots of events out there I want to tackle, and I'm, for as long as my health will hold out, I'll carry on going as long as I've got breath in my body.
And how are you health-wise at the moment?
Fine. Relatively fine. I always say that if it wasn't for the chemo side effects, I wouldn't know I have cancer. At the moment, everything's under control. I've got a number of areas in my body where there is cancer, but those sort of tumours are stable. They haven't grown and they haven't spread. We'll be having another scan in October when we get back from Berlin. So we'll find out then just how successful this most recent round of treatment has been. But we just keep going. We just keep going for the treatment. I know that I try and eat as well as I can. My exercise no doubt helps. I think having a positive attitude and an excellent medical team helps. So I'm very confident my treatment's still working.
Ben, just give us the places where people can go again to support you and also to make donations?
Well, there's my website, bensbowelmovements.com. So that's bensbowelmovements.com. There's a link on there to the donation page, my Virgin Money giving page, and also if they search for Ben's Bowel Movements on Facebook, Ben's Bowel Movements on Facebook, they'll be able to find me there as well.
It's been absolutely pleasure meeting you this afternoon. Be nice if you'd like to come and visit us again, maybe after Berlin, and tell us how it went, and also about what's coming up in the future. It'd be lovely if you would come back on the show.
It'd be my pleasure. I'd love it.
Yeah, I would. So thanks for coming in, Ben.
Thanks
you.
once again. Thank you.
Sunday nights from 9. Join Steve Franklin live for Preston FM's weekly request show.
Could I have some Pink Floyd for my mum?
Gino by Dixie's Midnight Runners.
Can I request 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton, please?
What a way to make a live.
Lavender by Marillion.
Sunday nights from 9. 103.2 Preston FM. The weekend stops here.